Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Darren Willis, and I'll be your instructor for Industrial Drawing B12, Introduction to Drafting in CAD for our Summer 2020 class session. Let's proceed then. We'll be working with the syllabus. The syllabus is some good stuff. I highly recommend taking a look at the syllabus. There is a copy of the syllabus on Canvas. There is also a copy of the syllabus that I'll be emailing you. You'll get that as an email. It's a Word document. And of course, the syllabus is our contract, right? So keep it in a handy place. You might want to 3-hole punch it, stick it in the very front of your binder right before your course pack. A lot of the questions that we have during the semester could be easily answered by taking a quick look at the syllabus to find out clarifications. I don't want you getting nasty surprises, and a syllabus that's thorough will prevent that. So let's go on to the syllabus. So here's our syllabus, and I realize that in a lot of classes you might take on the first day of class, it's very typical that the instructor will hand out the syllabus, will read the whole thing to you, sometimes word for word, and then say, okay, that's it for our first day, time to go home. Well, we don't have the luxury of being able to reduce our day's activity to a 15-minute or 20-minute exercise on reading the syllabus. In fact, I don't believe in reading the syllabus to anybody. The fact of the matter is, you're an adult. You can read just fine. You really don't need me to read to you. And what we're going to do instead is I would like to go over some of the high points that I think would be good to mention. I would mention these in class if we were face-to-face. But again, there's really no need to read every single thing to you that's on here when you can do that at your own leisure and when you'd like to. Our CRN is 50590, and of course this is an online class. The location is wherever you are. Now, there are no prerequisites to the course. The lecture and lab times are not set. They are asynchronous, so you can do the work when you want. As long as we get the work done on time, you can do it at 7 a.m., or noon, or 8 p.m., or 1 a.m., whatever works for you. And of course, we're starting on June 15th, and we'll wrap up on July 23rd, about 6 weeks later. Now, on that little blurb about no prerequisites, I think I explained this in my email to you, that there is an understanding that you have a basic level of computer proficiency. So we're going to just assume you have some basic computer skills before we take a computer-aided drafting class. Now, if you don't, the kind of skills we're talking about are not difficult things to learn. We do have some workshops on campus that I might be able to direct you to in an online version to help you out. And of course, worst case scenario, if you've got a 12-year-old niece or nephew, they can come over for 15 minutes and explain to you what you need to be able to do the basic things like open files and save files and download things off the internet. If you are ever on campus in the near future, and we're all on campus at the same time, and you'd like to come visit me, my office is over in the Math Science Building in MS11. My phone number that's on there is not going to be too helpful to you. My phone number is the phone number for my office, and right now I go to the office maybe once a week. So, best way to get in touch with me, there's a couple of ways. One way is email. You can always email me. You can also send me information or questions through Canvas. And I have an app that I use called Remind, and we'll be talking about the Remind app in the very near future. Office hours are Monday through Thursday, 1 to 4 p.m. So basically, Monday to Thursday afternoons. If you've got questions, you're having problems, you're having difficulties, I'm happy to sit down, fire up Zoom, and work with you until you get through that problem, okay? So it'll be by appointment. I'm not going to just sit for 3 hours a day waiting for people to pop in if they have a question. But I will work with you as soon as I possibly can once I get some indication that you need a little bit of help. Okay, course description, this is all very wordy. And basically what's the idea? We're going to use some software to do some technical drawings. We're going to learn some standards and some conventional practices used in industry related to this field, and you're going to leave this class with some basic CAD and drafting skills. So here's our too long didn't read version. You're going to use technical drawing instruments and computers, and these are essential skills for industrial technology careers, architecture, engineering, or really any other STEM career. Course objectives are even more confusing maybe on the first day of class than our last slide. The reason is none of this makes sense on the first day, right? So what we can do instead, maybe, rather than focusing on this today, is we'll revisit this at the end of the class to make sure that you can say at the end of the course you have met all of these objectives. Okay, so we're going to just make them disappear, and we will go back and check in on them at some other time in the future. Student learning outcomes are kind of big picture things. So the big picture is by the end of the course, if you are successful, you can use this CAD software to create entry-level technical drawing work. You can solve visualization and projection problems related to engineering graphics, and you can use manual drawing equipment to produce precision drawings. Okay, so those are our three big goals for you. There are some class materials that are required in order for you to be successful, and this wouldn't matter if we were on campus or if we're doing it online. So we have to do a little bit of back to school shopping, and maybe some of this stuff you've already gotten taken care of. One of the things that we're going to need, oh wait, that's not something we need, but that is a good picture, right? Back to school shopping in the liquor aisle. Why do they even have that? Well, maybe it's for the parents celebrating the children returning back to school. Or maybe it's for the sad college students realizing that summer vacation is at an end. Okay, so, whoa, hey, here's more. Special on Bacardi back to school savings. So, even the 12 packs of Miller are on sale to celebrate the return to school. But these are not the supplies we're going to need, okay? We're going to need a class pack. The class pack for Industrial Drawing 12 is approximately $21. It is available at Office Max over on Mount Vernon Avenue in Bakersfield on the east side of town. If you walk into the store and take a right, go toward the printing area and simply explain that you would like the Industrial Drawing 12 class pack, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. It's all wrapped up. They'll give it to you. It's hole punched, and you'll be on your way to go before you know it. Okay, this is our textbook for the class. It's also a lot of the assignments that we're going to be drawing are part of this class pack. So this is not a optional piece of equipment. This is absolutely essential. Now, 21 bucks, I know it's a big hit on the budget, but it's significantly less of a hit than a typical CAD instruction manual like this AutoCAD 2020 book is almost 130 bucks by itself. And really what we're doing is we're doing two things in this class. Yes, we are covering AutoCAD and its basic use, but we're also learning about technical drawings and engineering graphics. So that's another $110 book. So really got a $230 investment that we could have made. We've got it knocked down to 21 as far as books go. And hey, that's pretty good. You just saved yourself like a $210, right? Go take yourself out to dinner, once the restaurants open back up. You deserve it. The fact is, I'm just not a big believer in textbooks. Consumer prices inflate over time, that's true, but textbook prices are just ridiculous. And it's a scam, and the honest truth is these are awesome books if you needed to know everything about AutoCAD. This is an awesome book if you needed to know everything about technical graphics. The fact is we don't. So the course pack that I've prepared has exactly what we need and not a lot more. It's bare bones stripped down to exactly what we're going to do in class so that it saves you some money. And maybe you've had the experience where you take a class and you have to buy a book or three, and they don't even hardly use the book in class. And I know that's frustrating. It was frustrating for me when I was in that circumstance. So we're going to avoid the bookstore. Another reason to avoid the bookstore is simply the prices are just out of control. Over here we have our packet of chalk, 12 pieces from Target for 99 cents, and then here is that same packet of chalk over at the college bookstore for 12 bucks, right? So I don't have to tell you, you know what it's like. I'm trying to avoid sending you down the bookstore and spending more money than you have to on something that we don't really even need. While you're at Office Max, you might want to pick up two other things, though. You might want to pick up a 3-ring binder. 1-inch binder should be sufficient for the course pack and any work you do. And then a highlighter. So I recommend yellow. Yellow is kind of what we use in industry related to CAD. Yellow highlighter is an important CAD tool, believe it or not. And after a couple of weeks and a couple of drawings are done, you'll see how the highlighter is incorporated into the class. You might only have a pink highlighter, and if that's the case, that's fine. Or green or blue. The fact is we need a highlighter. We need something that puts marks on paper that are translucent so we can see through to what was written underneath. We also need some basic drafting equipment. The class requires that we do some manual drawing, and the drafting kit, I sent you a list of the tools that are in it and required for it. There's multiple ways to get those tools. You could ask a friend who might have taken the class. You can ask grandpa who might have these things up in the attic in a box. You can buy them on Amazon one at a time, but that would be the expensive route to go. At $41, you're basically getting about $65 worth of tools with a 30% discount. So the store in town, Blueprint Services, who have put together our basic drafting kit, is giving you everything you need, nothing you really don't need, and they're giving you a decent discount on top of it. You're also going to need a T-square. A T-square is a tool that's used with basic drafting tools to draw straight lines, and these are about $12. See what Blueprint Service has. You could also hop onto Amazon and see what they got there. The truth is we don't need the drawing tools for the first 3 weeks of class. We need them the last 3 weeks of class. So you have a couple of weeks in order to order them and get them in, or to save up to purchase them. But all in all, we're talking about 53 and 21, under $75, and we've got all of our stuff taken care of as far as books, tools, and equipment go. So an attendance policy really doesn't tie in very well with an online class, because I don't know if you're going to be attending at any special time, but what I do know is that you need to participate. So the way I'm going to look at attendance is if you're not participating and several assignments go by and there's nothing turned in, that you're a non-participant at that point, and I'm going to have to drop you. The waitlist people, I'm going to open it up and let anybody on the waitlist get into the class, since we don't have a limited number of computers or a limited number of drawing tables to work with. If for some reason, though, we're a week into the class and you decide that you can't finish the class, it's too much work, or you've got other responsibilities, then you're going to want to be able to drop yourself from the class, right? And if you're having problems dropping yourself, please contact me. I can help you out. After a certain point, I can no longer drop you, but you can take care of that yourself. My hope, though, is that we can get through, and no one will have to drop. We can get through in our 6 weeks. Everyone finishes with a good grade and a big smile, and we move on to bigger and better things. The grading arrangement for the class is pretty straightforward. We're going to learn CAD for 3 weeks, and then we're going to take a midterm exam, and that's half the grade. 25% is the CAD assignments we do, 25% will be the midterm. And then the next 3 weeks are going to be hand drawing. That'll also be 25% of the grade. And then our final exam, based on hand drawing, will be the last 25%. So that's how the grading boils down. Hand work and midterm is the first half. Hand drawing and final is the second half. The grading breakdown is no different from any other class. I do round, I have students, if you get an 88.95, am I going to round it up? Probably, I know that the math works out and is very exact in Canvas, but if you're close to an A within a point or so, I don't mind rounding up. If you're close to a B within a point or so, I don't mind rounding up. Grades are subjective, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So I am a fair rounder, I think, but I'm not Santa Claus. A 68% is never going to be a B. The 74, I'm never going to round it up to an A. So fair, but not, crazy. The class is basically set up that you have drawing assignments that are due. Because it's a summer class, 3 days of class covers 2 weeks of work. That's right. If we were in a regular semester, right? So let's think about that. 3 days of class is 2 weeks of work. Wow, that's a lot of stuff, right? But that's how things are going to work out. Now, in a regular semester, you have a whole week to do your assignments, but because we're going so much faster, we're going to have less time. So typical drawing assignments are due 2 days after they're assigned. If I give you an assignment on Monday, it'll be due on Wednesday. And I score drawings 1 to 10. If it's a great drawing, it gets a 10. If it's a average drawing, it gets a 7. If it's got quite a few errors, it's got a 5. And if it's all over the place, it's probably a 1 or a 2. So real simple grading. I mean, if you think about 1 to 100, you can figure out that a 10 is an A, a 9 is an A, a low A, an 8 is a B, a 7 is a C, etc. Drawings with errors should be revised. And what that means is if you make mistakes, I will ask you to fix the mistakes. I think that sometimes we learn more by fixing the mistakes than we learned the first time doing the assignment itself. Now, as an incentive for you to revise your work and make it perfect, I will give you extra points back. So if you lost 4 points on a drawing, you got a 6 out of 10 for a score, and you revise it, I will give you back half the points you lost. I'll turn your 6 out of 10 into an 8 out of 10, which is a lot better. Late work policy then is going to basically be work needs to be turned in when it's due. I will take late work, and I do that because I understand that things happen, and sometimes our computer melts down. Sometimes we lose the work, or sometimes we have someone get sick and needs to be rushed to the hospital, right? Or to get stitches. It happens. I get it. So I will take late work up to a week late, but it is going to only be worth half credit. After 1 week, I don't want to see any late work. It's just too far away from when we did it for me to effectively grade it, and unfair for the people that did it on time. So what I tell people is the word do and the word do, they sound the same. They're homonyms, but they don't mean the same thing, right? Do does not equal do. If it's due on Monday, don't start doing it on Monday. Make sure it's already done before it's supposed to be turned in. I've had some students that have had confusion in the past about grades. I don't think I'm an excessively terrible grader, and I think using the grading system with Canvas is pretty straightforward. But like my friend here, Eric said, I don't understand how I turned in all the work, came into almost every class, and still failed the class. So the class is based on your ability to perform some technical drawing and CAD tasks. Eric did turn in all the work, and he did come to almost every class, but the work he turned in was always terrible. It was always horrible. It was incorrect. It was full of mistakes. So even though he turned in all the work, that did not automatically give him a passing grade. And that's what we have to understand, that your grade is based on how well you do on the work and the fact that you did all the work. So I use Canvas to maintain and keep track of grades. Canvas is nice because it's a way for you to turn your work in. It is also a way for you to see that I've received the work, and it helps you to see what your grade is throughout the whole semester. So over the course of the 6 weeks, you will know exactly what's been graded, what scores you got, and you'll also be able to see where you stand in the class. There'll be no surprises on the last day as far as your grade goes. Not a really big fan of group projects. Group projects, I get it. They're supposed to teach you all these great things. The reality, though, is that group projects are unfair, right? One person gets stuck doing all the work. Someone's going to do their work wrong. Someone's never going to show up, right? So really, I've learned not to trust anybody when it comes to a group project, more so than I've learned about teamwork or collaboration. So we'll be using Canvas to deliver materials to the class, and in a little bit we'll talk about how to get in there and how to interact with it. I also use a system called Remind, and Remind is an app that I have on my cell phone. What Remind lets me do is it lets me send you a message that goes to your phone as a text message. And I think this is a better system than using your BC email, because everyone walks around with their cell phone. And it's a better way for you to get in touch with me, because as soon as you send me that text message through Remind, bang, I've got it. And I don't have to go check my email 400 times a day. So I'd like to use this. I use this normally during the semester. I think it's a pretty good system, and I'll give you some instructions on how you can sign up for the Remind.com app so that we can communicate in a very clear and easy way through the semester. Office hours are there if you need extra assistance. I am happy to help you. And what we'll be doing is we'll be working on Zoom to answer questions. I can show you my screen. I can look at your screen. I can take over your computer through the Zoom network, and I can give you one-on-one help, which is what you really want to ask, what you really need. If you want to ask questions related to the material, right, we could do that. If you want to enrich the experience, you want to get some more information out of me, or see other drawings, or see how things are applied, or hey, I'm in automation. How does CAD and automation work together? Well, we can talk about stuff like that during office hours and get you those answers. If you want to do some student planning, right, and figure out other classes related to your major that might be good in the industrial drawing area, well, we could talk about them too. So that's what office hours are really set up for. Academic dishonesty, as we go down in our syllabus, we see there's a blurb on academic dishonesty. Basically, we have to define what this is. So what would you say? Is explaining how to do something to a classmate academic dishonesty? I would say no. That's not academic dishonesty. That's helping somebody. And there's nothing wrong with that. How about doing a classmate's work for them? Would you consider that academic dishonesty? Well, most people would. Doing someone's work for them means they didn't do it, yet they're turning it in for a grade and claiming they did it. That is academically dishonest. How about giving another student your work? You've produced a drawing, or you've made a CAD file, and you give it to somebody else, and you say, here, you don't have to do it, just turn it in. Is that academically dishonest? What would you say? That is absolutely academically dishonest. So let's not do that, please. Taking someone else's work, turning it in as your own, also academically dishonest. Okay, so I go over this just because every semester, one or two instances of this pop up, and it's just embarrassing. You know, when we're doing a hand drawing, although this won't be an issue if we're doing the class online, someone inadvertently always grabs someone else's drawing and tries to trace it. And you know, when they trace it, they also trace all the mistakes. And for some reason, when I look at two drawings in a stack of drawings that are identical, my eye just pulls them out and I can see that something is wrong. And a little more investigation shows that some cheating went on. So this is also academic dishonesty. So my message about academic dishonesty boils down to this. Don't do it. Please don't do it. It can get you into some really serious hot water, and we don't want to see you suffering needlessly. Mac versus PC. If you have a Apple computer, then I'm sorry to hear that. No, Apple computers are great for certain things, right? They're great for music, they're great for graphics. Apple computers are not that great for CAD. So I'm hoping nobody went out and bought an Apple computer to take the industrial drawing class. The fact is that Windows operating system on PC, this is the standard for this industry. Okay? So if you have a Mac, there are certain things we can do. We can make some workarounds for you. But the reality is, I am not a Mac person. I don't use Apple products. If you get jammed or stuck and you want to ask me some specific questions, I'm going to be very limited in my ability to help you out. There's a statement about student services. So if you get special services, please let me know that in an email as quickly as possible so I can make sure you're getting your accommodations. Tell me soon. Don't wait till the end of the class, please. And if you're not sure if you should be getting student service accommodations, you can ask and I can help you out with that too. My expectation is that you will always do your best work. And if you do that, I'm sure you'll be fine in this class. Also, ask for help when you need it. If you're jammed, if you're stuck, if something's confusing and doesn't make sense, please reach out to me and I will help you. And then do not procrastinate. How many of you are procrastinators? Anyone out there procrastinator? Looks like I'm the only one holding my hand up. So the rest of you, if you're not holding up your hand, I'm thinking you're a liar. No, lots of people procrastinate. Okay, and sometimes they make the excuse, well, I work good under pressure. I'll wait till the last minute. But that's a lie. We usually do terrible work if we wait till the last minute, and we never give ourselves a chance to do a great job if we're always putting things off till the very end. In a summer class that moves so quickly, where every 3 classes are 2 weeks worth of work, there is no time to procrastinate. Okay, some other expectations are that you'll check your email account daily, and you'll check Canvas for updates on a regular basis. There's a blurb in the syllabus as you work your way through on habits of mind. Habits of mind are just some strategies. Maybe you are a first-time in your family college student, right? And you don't have parents that went to college who can give you all kinds of clues and hints and special tips and tricks. Well, these are the tips and tricks. These are the special hints. This is the help for students who are maybe the first ones in their family going into higher education, right? Something beyond high school. How can you succeed? So I would take a look at the Habits of Mind page on the BC website. There are some really good strategies in there to help you to maximize your learning situation. Critical dates for the class. We've got a date for the last day to drop with a refund, the last day to drop without a withdraw, a W grade, the last day to drop with a W, and our final exam. Our final exam is due on July 23rd by 3 p.m. Okay, so those are the critical dates, and that takes care of the bulk of our syllabus. At the end, you'll also see a proposed schedule that basically lays out what we do each week. So I don't feel like there's a need for me to go in and read the syllabus to you line by line. You're an adult. You're perfectly capable of reading it on your own, but those are some of the high points I wanted to call out as we begin the course. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to contact me.